Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it is that you are joining us today. Welcome. Welcome to another day, another beautiful day that has been created just for us. And so we have to be joyous and grateful and appreciative of just being able to open our eyes and see another day. So let's get into it. This is Kia's Daily Dose of Sweetness. So today we're going to talk about something that is a little uncomfortable for me. I feel like I am being super vulnerable and I don't know if I want to, I don't know. I don't like, I can't say I don't like. I just have to do it because that's what God told me to do. This is what he specifically told me to talk about today. And it was off of a revelation that I had last night while journaling. And I was just sort of walking through like my journey from what I can recall and remember, and the ups and downs, the highs and the lows, and just feeling unstable throughout the transitions of life, and just kind of, coming to a head where it's like, okay, you have to, like we talked about the other day, stay committed to a place, a thing, a person, or what have you. You have to be solid in your decisions. You can't be wavering back and forth, and you have to be thankful for what you have, and consider how you are thinking about things and approaching things and looking at it from only your own internal point of view, but not really taking the time to dig deep and think about how does somebody else feel who's also in the situation with me. And so, as the Lord would have it, I turned on TV this morning, went to YouTube, and there was a short little teaching by Stephen Furtick. That's my guy. Love him. There was a short teaching by Stephen Furtick, and he started it off with, a grateful heart is a steady heart. And I was like, okay, that is exactly what I needed to hear this morning. And so he just went on and, really, taught this impacting teaching this morning. And it was very short, just like a 30-minute kind of just connecting. And it really spoke to me in such a strong and profound way, because it honestly made me realize that I have not been steady. I have been a person, I've always been an emotional person, and I'm driven by passion and things of that nature. I follow my heart, I go with my gut, that kind of thing. I'm not usually afraid to take risks, because I feel like if you don't take a chance, if you don't risk, then you'll never know. If you're not willing to leap, then you'll never know whether or not you can fly. That kind of girl. And I've also been the kind of girl who, if my mood said today's a bad day, then guess what? It's going to be a bad day today. If I, feel like, okay, I've been feeling this for a long time, this must be the way I feel, then that's what I'm going to go with. If my emotions are in a certain space due to external circumstances, then that's where I go, whether it's good or bad. I have not been tapping into the foundation of who I am and whose I am and who I was created in the image of. And I was created in the image of a firm, steady, rock solid, stable God. God is God. He is not going to change. Whether it's good, bad, ugly, or indifferent, he is still God. Whether the storms are flowing or we sitting on a sandy beach looking at the stars, God is still God, regardless of what situation we're going through, regardless of how we treat him, regardless of how we ignore him, or we put God on the back burner, or we choose to do our own thing, and I'll get to my prayer later, or I'll read the Bible later. God is still the same God that's going to show up for you, period. And he wants us, his children, those who he created in his image, to be like that as well, to be stable, to be steady, to be firm and rooted in the foundation. And the foundation ultimately is love. We have to be rooted in love. And when you think about the things that you have been blessed with, you realize how much God truly, truly does love you, because your life could have been a different way. Whatever state you may be in right now, it could have been worse, because there's somebody else who's living in worse. So we have to stabilize with gratefulness. And that's what Stephen Furtick was talking about this morning, was thinking about the things that you do have. Whenever those negative thoughts come, whenever you feel like you about to blow a fuse, or you feeling like you're being neglected, or you're feeling like you don't have any friends, or you're feeling alone in the world, or you're feeling overlooked. When those feelings come, those are not feelings of God. Those are not emotions of God. And those things are not going to get you any closer to heaven. But if you replace those thoughts with gratefulness, then you begin to think on things that are above, thinking on things that are above and not beneath. As you can see, this is really, really close to home for me, because I have done that a lot. And I have sort of just moved and swayed with whatever flurry of emotions that I was feeling. And I made decisions and actions and off of those irrational emotions that were not rooted and grounded in God. And my daily dose of sweetness for today, to help make your life sweeter and my own, is to have a grateful heart. Because a grateful heart is a steady heart. And a steady heart is the heart of God. All right, this has been another Daily Dose with Kia. I hope that you were blessed in some way, shape, or form, that you received whatever it is that God has for you to receive today. I thank you for listening and for allowing me to share my own struggles and my own kind of eye-opening moments, and really looking internally. And I pray that you also do the same. And trust me, if I can do it and I can be on this camera and do it, then you certainly can too. So I hope that you know that you're not alone in whatever it is that you may be struggling with, or dealing with, or going through. There's always somebody else who's either worse off, or have already been, or is in the same thing that you are. And so We have resources, we have people, we have family members, and we have an amazing God who we can turn to and talk to and confide in, and he will love us no matter what. We can say any and everything. We can make all the wrong decisions, all the wrong mistakes, all the wrong everything, and he's still going to be God, and he's still going to love us because he is a stable God. He is a loving God. He is a kind God. He is a gracious God. And he is in your corner. So let's change those negative thoughts and thinking about what I don't have or what they didn't do or what somebody should have done or whatever the case may be. And just say, God, I thank you because it's not as bad as it could have been. God, I thank you for my children. I thank you because, yes, I could get mad about them eating up everything in the house. And, start going off on a rant and fussing and all of the other stuff because I'm upset that I literally just bought the box of cereal and it's gone like in a day, like that, that kind of stuff. I could let that whole thing just take me away to a flurry of negative emotions. Or I can say, you know what, God, I'm thankful that I have 2 growing, healthy children who are in a state of puberty and expanding and growing and developing into their own unique personalities. And I'm grateful that they are home and safe. And I'm grateful that we're not in a hospital. We're not going back and forth to the doctors. We're not, struggling to have food on the table. We're not struggling to have food to eat because there are some kids who don't know where their meal is going to come from, who doesn't have a mother to go out and buy a box of cereal for them. So instead of fussing about the little things that are honestly pointless, they don't get you any closer to heaven, and they certainly don't make you more like God. Change your thoughts to a heart of gratefulness and show God that you appreciate him for who he is and what he has already done. And don't be moved or swayed by your emotions, but turn to a steady God who will love and hold you and keep you and remind you of who you are relentlessly. This has been Kia's Daily Dose. I know I said that already, and I just had more to say, I guess. I don't know. But thank you for tuning in, and I will see you tomorrow. Stay sweet. And don't forget to show up for you because you matter too. All right. Have a good one, guys. Bye.